Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, taking care of business on Canada's podcast network. Joining me today is Romana King, who is author of House Poor No More and senior finance editor at Finder. Thanks for joining us today, Romana.
Great to be here, Mario.
Let's talk about Finder's recent New Year's financial resolutions report. Obviously, when we enter into the new year, the reality of how much money we spent over Christmas hits us, and we also talk about resolutions. So, tell me what the top resolutions were that the report found.
Yeah, I don't think it would come as a surprise, but the top resolution for most Canadians this year is save more money. 55% of Canadians want to save more money in 2023. Not a huge surprise because we had such an expensive year last year, whether you were buying a house or just paying for, essentials like groceries and transportation and clothing. All prices went up. Inflation was there. Expenses were higher. So lots of people are looking at saving more money in 2023.
Yeah. And, it's kind of an interesting thing, right? Because most people kind of will say that over the past couple of years with COVID, there was a lot of savings going on.
I mean, I think that's it. We did save a lot, and some people put into an emergency fund, and some people paid down debt, and some people just put it into a high interest savings account. But the thing is, we forgot what it was like to go out and do some of the things that we enjoyed. And so when things started opening up again, and we started doing that, then we had inflationary pressure that put all the prices of essential stuff, not just the discretionary fun stuff, but all prices went up, and suddenly we felt a pinch, not just because we were spending more to do more stuff we enjoyed, but because we were spending more on just the essentials.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people realized, oh, I might have saved a lot during COVID because I wasn't doing as much, but if I still want a life and I still want to have those financial goals, I need to concentrate on either saving more, 55%, or we found 42% wanted to pay off debt. That was their primary New Year's resolution for 2023.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about strategies involved there. A, how do you save more money? And B, how do you pay off more of your debt?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. A lot of people immediately do sort of a knee jerk. I know that a lot of our respondents, the Finder survey respondents, said, what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut out food, takeout. Takeout food is the one I'm going to do, or eat in restaurant expenses. So 51% said they're going to reduce their takeout. 43% said I'm not going to eat in restaurants all that much. Guess what was next? Alcohol and tobacco. Now, this might be a bit of a seasonal thing. We go into January and February with a bit of a dry spell. So 29% said they'd cut down on costs with alcohol and tobacco. We should probably do a poll at the end of the year to see if people actually did that. Right?
Yeah. No,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Mario, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, and then looking at clothing and accessories and entertainment. So again, it's a little bit more of a discretionary. We're looking at ways that we can cut our costs that are not essential expenses.
Yeah, and I know if you talk to almost anybody in the finance world and advisors to whatever, they always talk about budgets and setting budgets and sticking to a budget and stuff like that. But man, that's a hard thing to do. Why is it so hard for people to stick to a budget?
Well, it's boring. Nobody wants to look at their spreadsheet and say, oh, I can't spend on that. Yeah. And in fact, I married a man that never grew up with budgets, and he only spent what he had in his pocket, which is great because he doesn't like debt. But the reality is that when you're juggling many goals and many needs and many desires and many people in a household, budgets are pretty essential to try and keep you on those long-term goals. The short-term goals are a little bit easier because they're more immediate. So the long-term goals. So we found a good way of doing it, which is rather than go line by line, we create a budget. It's a guide. And then we review our credit card statements because we make most of our payments on credit cards. And we review our statements and say, hey, we're not saving as much for that trip we really want to take as a family. So we're just going to choose not to eat out or not to get those coffees. And it then doesn't become painful because every time I go to that Starbucks or every time I go to JJ Bean or wherever else I want to get my coffee, I stop and go, wait, is this more important than that family trip? No, I'm not going to have that coffee. So it becomes a little bit easier when you can tie the budget constraints to an actual goal you're looking forward to.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you think, Romana, as we head into 2023? What do you think consumers are going to do this year, considering the inflationary pressures out there, the higher interest rates? Apparently, there's probably even more coming this month from what we hear. The cost of living just is, soaring, basically, right? How do you think that's going to impact consumer spending for the rest of this year?
I think what's going to happen is most of us are going to be forced into, my number one resolution for save more money, or the number one tactic I have, is use the 24-hour rule. I think more people are going to use that by default. And the 24-hour rule is, if I really need it, if I really want it, in 24 hours, I'll go and get it. And I think more people will take that as almost a subconscious. They're not going to go out and immediately buy that TV because it's on sale, because they were hoping to get one eventually anyway. They're going to really think and say, do I really need that TV now, or can I wait another year? Do I really need to upgrade my house, or can I wait another year? Is this the year to get into the market, which it probably is for first-time home buyers, but that's another conversation. But is this the year to get in, or should I wait? Do I need to have those renovations? Are they a luxury renovation, or is it an upgrade and an upkeep? So we're going to have more pause. And I think consumers really want smart, strategic ways on how do we save more money. I am a huge comparison shopper. I comparison shop everything. I comparison shop meat. I will go and see who has a sale on meat every week.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
Right? Because it's expensive if you add it up. But if you get into the habit of that 24-hour rule, the 24-minute rule, where you say, listen, I'm going to take 24 minutes and look at all the flyers and see where I'm going to do my grocery shopping this week, it can actually make a big difference in the short run and the long run.
You think also that more consumers are going to gravitate towards the Dollaramas and the Walmarts of the world this year, because looking for discount and looking for discounted items?
I definitely think that if you were shopping at, the higher end grocery stores, you may do less of that, or only buy judicial, certain things there, and other things you'll go to the Walmarts. I think that above and beyond going to the Walmarts and the Dollaramas, because hey, Dollarama's not $1 anymore. There's $5 items there now. Right?
I hear ya.
Right? So more ahead of that, people are going to be looking for ways to just, how do I save on the everyday things that I do? And it goes back to some tried and true principles. Take 30 minutes to discuss with your insurance broker or your insurance agent, how do I save money on my home insurance, my car insurance, my travel insurance, any insurance out there? Review all the things that we don't normally like looking at because they seem really boring. But if you take half an hour a week, you can shave 10, 20, 100, $200, $500 off your annual bill. That 30 minutes is worth that money.
Now, you know what, with these financial pressures that you and I and everybody else are feeling, do you think that kind of motivates people to look, first of all, wages aren't going up. They might get a 1-2% or whatever hike in salary, but for the most part, people's wages aren't rising. So, do you think a lot of them are looking at different ways to make additional income?
Yeah, I mean, side hustles, small businesses, small, home-based businesses, they're definitely on the rise. And why not? You have more control, more ability to, set your own hours, do something that you hopefully enjoy. And I think more people are also pushing back on employers that require FaceTimes. So obviously, if you work at a grocery store and you're a cashier, you have to be FaceTime. You have to be there to actually be a cashier and check the people through. But if you're working in a job that maybe doesn't require you to be in the office, but your employer still requires you to be in the office, I think people are looking for alternatives. And one way to do that is to start that side hustle. They see that they can make a go of it. And then but then there's also, you have to be careful. Those side hustles, a lot of people want to go in on, internet business or internet-based businesses. And there's lots of people selling the easy package on that. And I would caution people, don't invest in a quick and easy fix. Do something you love and build it up from there.
All right. Thank you, Romana, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mario.
All right, that was Romana King, who is author of House Poor No More and also senior finance editor at Finder. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, taking care of business on Canada's podcast network. Thanks for joining us today.